Hey guys, it's Jordan with National Speed, and today we're answering two questions that we get all the time. Is the Wilson intake manifold for the C8's LT2 engine actually worth it? And right behind that, can a naturally aspirated C8 Stingray compete with a Z06 without boost? Now this Stingray right here just made 600 horsepower to the rear wheels naturally aspirated. And in this video, we're going to show you how we got there, whether this intake manifold actually made a difference, and how this stacks up to a Z06. Alright, so here's exactly how we're going to run this test. First, we're going to get a baseline to measure stock horsepower and torque on the dyno. Then, we'll install our Stage 4 Plus naturally aspirated flex fuel package, including our more aggressive NS2 camshaft profile, and show you what that does on 93 octane. From there, and this is the important part, we're going to install the Wilson intake manifold with a 103mm throttle body back to back under the same conditions and show you exactly what that brings to the table. After that, we'll switch the car over to E85 and see just how far we can push this combination. And finally, we'll put all of it into context by comparing it to a stock C8 Z06 so you can see exactly how it stacks up. Now, the car we're working with today is Terry's 2022 Corvette Stingray C8R edition. And originally, Terry reached out about going supercharged, specifically our Stage 1 Magnuson package. But during that conversation, he asked a very important question. What if I just stayed naturally aspirated with some extra kick? In other words, can we get Z06 level performance out of a Stingray without boost? And that's exactly where this build came from. Because with the right combination, including options like the Wilson intake, our Stage 4 naturally aspirated package is designed to optimize power while maintaining drivability and reliability you'd expect from a daily driven C8, all without adding forced induction. Now, before we get into the process and results, let's quickly cover what's included in our Stage 4 naturally aspirated package. At a high level, this is our cylinder heads, camshaft, and full bolt-on package with your choice of camshaft profile. The NS1 grind, which delivers literal stock-like drivability, or the NS2, which makes an extra 25 to 30 horsepower with a bit more hot rod character down low. And that's exactly what we're running on this car today. And by the way, both are perfectly daily drivable options. The NS2 just brings a little bit more attitude. Now, instead of going line by line through every component included here, we've already done a full breakdown of this package in our C8 Corvette naturally aspirated comparison video. So if you want all the details, you can find a link to that video in the description below. But for today, what matters is how this combination actually performs, especially once we start testing things like the intake manifold back to back. Alright, with that all covered, let's get right into it. But first, Vlad gets the car strapped down on the dyno exactly as it came in so we can establish a true baseline for horsepower and torque. And this one actually came in a little bit lower than we typically see, putting down 418 wheel horsepower and 404 pound-feet of torque. Most of these cars land in the 425 to 430 range on our dyno, so this is a little bit lower than we would expect to see. But either way, this is our true starting point for comparison. Up next, John pulls the car in and gets the ECU removed for unlocking with HP tuners. And then gets right to work on the camshaft installation. And as you can see, this car is already equipped with a Borla attack exhaust system, but other than that, it's completely stock. With the powertrain removed, John begins disassembly. After the engine is disassembled to a short block, John begins the camshaft installation and AFM-DOD delete. And like any LTX camshaft job, there's no shortage of cleanup to remove old silicone and getting everything prepped for reassembly. From there, the engine is reassembled and resealed using all OEM GM gaskets, seals, and one-time use fasteners. With the camshaft and AFM DOD delete components installed, the short block is reunited with the transaxle. Up next, the Gwatney Performance CNC ported cylinder heads are prepped for installation. Of course, assembled with Brian Tooley Racing valve springs and retainers. After installing the Brian Tooley Racing rocker arm trunnion bearing upgrade and push rods, reassembly continues. Next, the Cook's headers are installed, along with the Stainless Works bit pipes featuring the EPA-compliant G-Sport by Jesse high-flow catalytic converters. And then the existing Borla attack exhaust system is reinstalled. Now, while our Stage 4 naturally aspirated package normally includes a ported intake manifold and OEM GM 95mm throttle body, we'll be reusing the factory combination for comparison purposes. Next, the JLT Performance intake system is installed. With the powertrain assembled, the body is set back onto the cradle. And right on cue, the ECU arrives back from HB Tuners, unlocked and ready for tuning. Topped off with the DSX Tuning Flex Fuel conversion. From there, John backs her out of the shop to break in the camshaft and begins checking his work before the tuning session. Now, let's hear what this NS2 camshaft sounds like at idle. Mechanical work completed, Vlad straps the car back down to the dyno to dial in the 93 octane calibration via HB Tuners. And right away, even with the stock intake manifold and throttle body still in place, the difference is significant. Output jumps to 530 wheel horsepower and 467 pound-feet of torque. Over baseline, that's peak gains of 111.29 horsepower and 62.07 pound-feet of torque, with maximum gains of 119.84 horsepower and 98.29 pound-feet of torque. So needless to say, that's already a pretty strong result on 93 octane. But now comes the real question. What does the Wilson intake manifold with the 103mm throttle body actually add? With that, the car heads back into the shop so John can install the Wilson intake manifold and Nick Williams' 103mm throttle body. And just check out the difference between the stock setup and the Wilson intake manifold. Completely different approach and frankly, an absolute work of art. Also, now that the new intake is in place, John installs the Mighty Mouse Solutions mild catch can. And since the car still has some 93 in the tank, most of that gets drained out so we can roll straight into E85 testing afterwards without having to unstrap the car. From there, everything is buttoned back up, including the bumper, trunk, and under panels, and we're ready to head back to the dyno. Then, with conditions nearly identical to the previous session, Vlad straps the car back down to the dyno to dial everything in and see what the intake actually does. Alright, moment of truth. Is the Wilson intake manifold just eye candy, or does it actually make a difference? Yep, it absolutely shows up, with output increasing to 564 wheel horsepower and 484 pound-feet of torque. Over the stock intake manifold and throttle body, that's peak gains of 37.41 horsepower and 17.43 pound-feet of torque, with maximum gains of 38.32 horsepower and 31.60 pound-feet of torque. And more importantly, you can see those gains carried throughout most of the pool, aside from that small dip right around 5200 RPM. So overall, this isn't just a peak number improvement. It's a meaningful increase in usable power across the power band. And stepping back to the bigger picture, compared to the original baseline, we're now looking at peak gains of 145.70 horsepower and 79.50 pound-feet of torque, with maximum gains of 150.15 horsepower and 122.42 pound-feet of torque. With 93 octane wrapped up, Vlad adds ethanol to the mix and we roll straight into E85 tuning. As expected, this is where things pick up. With the E85 in the tank, output increases to 587 wheel horsepower and 509 pound-feet of torque. Over 93 octane, that's peak gains of 22.36 horsepower and 25.32 pound-feet of torque, with maximum gains of 30.81 horsepower and 31.93 pound-feet of torque. And it's also worth noting that this is with the car already heat-soaked from the previous tuning session. With additional cooldown time, we'd expect this combination to comfortably land in the mid-590s. And just for fun, let's have a look at the same run, but with the correction factor set to uncorrected. This will show us what the car is actually producing in these conditions without any adjustment. And even heat-soaked, the car still put down 602 wheel horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque. All in a daily drivable, stock bottom end naturally aspirated package. Pretty crazy. But how does this compare to a stock C8 Z06? Well, before starting work on our Stage 2 package, we had the opportunity to baseline Greg's 2025 Z06 in completely stock form. So let's see what she puts down. And in stock form, it put down 556 wheel horsepower and 405 pound-feet of torque. So compared to that, Terry's Stage 4 NA equipped Stingray with the Wilson manifold on 93 octane edges it out modestly in horsepower with a peak difference of only 7.99 horsepower. However, we have a much larger gap in torque with a peak difference of 79.31 pound-feet of torque. And when you look under the curve, the difference becomes even more apparent with a maximum difference of 89.36 horsepower and 80.85 pound-feet of torque. Now, stepping up to E85, the gap widens even further. At that point, we're looking at a peak difference of 30.42 horsepower and 104.63 pound-feet of torque, with a maximum difference of 116.79 horsepower and 106.13 pound-feet of torque. So, is this better than the Z06? Well, the answer is, depends on what you're looking for. If your goal is a daily drivable, naturally aspirated setup with usable horsepower and torque across the entire power band, then this package makes a pretty compelling case. And as much as we love the flat plane symphony of the Z06's LT6 engine, sometimes it's hard to beat that ground-pounding classic idol. And on that note, since we demonstrated how the NS1 camshaft drives in our NA comparison video, let's show you how the NS2 grind drives here. So just like in the comparison video, we're going to come right off the brake pedal here and show you how the car behaves without any throttle application, just kind of creeping forward on its own. And as you'll see, it's still pretty good drivability. So here we go. We're going to come right off the brake pedal here. She's moving. No bucking, no surging. Let's apply a little throttle. Yep, just a little bit of extra throttle required. But man, that is perfectly daily drivable. I wouldn't have any issues getting caught in bumper-to-bumper traffic with this camshaft. Still enjoyable to drive. Obviously makes gobs of power, sounds great. It's a winner. Well guys, there you have it. Is the Wilson intake manifold actually worth the money? Well, from our testing, not only is it a great looking addition under the hood, it also outperforms any other LT2 intake manifold we've tested to date. And while it is not a low-cost solution, it also doesn't deliver low-cost results. And as for the bigger question, can a C8 Stingray actually compete with a Z06 without boost? And even with a daily drivable stock bottom end package, the answer is clearly yes. So if you're ready for this level of proven performance from your C8 Corvette, we're ready to help you get there. No matter where you're located in the entire United States, we're here to make the process easy, transparent, and fun from start to finish. Reach out today to learn more.